I was having a conversation recently with one of my clients, and I realized that they were really struggling with the idea of feeling motivated to go to the gym. And as a result of that, they hadn't actually made much progress in the last 4 or 5 weeks. And I realized that they had gotten beyond their structured training and nutrition habits. They weren't going to the gym as frequently, they weren't sticking to the nutrition plan, and they started to feel like they weren't making any progress. And as a result of that, they started asking me, how can they feel more motivated? Today's video, I'm going to help you understand that you don't really need to feel motivated all the time to get the results you want. And instead, I'm going to show you what you need to focus on so you don't have to rely on motivation all the time. This is a really common theme I get tons of questions about, usually on a daily basis, whether on Facebook or Instagram or in my emails. People will respond and they'll say, how do I get more motivation to go to the gym? How do I get more motivation to get into shape? And in fact, that's a really great question. Hey, my name is JC Dean. Welcome to a No BS approach to looking great naked. This is where I give you the truth on what it takes to get into great shape, and I help you understand the exact steps you need to take to reach your fitness goals. Motivation is not a bad thing. Some of the most accomplished people are obviously very motivated, but it's a little bit different type of motivation than just feeling a certain way in a moment and actually being motivated over a long period of time. There's this common misconception that the highest achievers are these unrealistically motivated people, and that they're constantly happy and excited and motivated about what's going on and what they're doing. That's a common misconception, because the most accomplished people that I know, the people that have achieved the most, they're not actually that motivated at all times. And while it may seem that it required a great level of motivation to achieve what they've achieved, and that is true to an extent, what they're actually doing is creating a form of momentum and consistency that keeps them motivated over the long term. The first thing I want to cover here is the idea of motivation. I want you to think of it more of like a feeling. So if you ever remember yourself feeling happy or sad, or maybe someone cut you off in traffic and you got really pissed for a short period of time, I want you to think back to that moment and think about how you felt in the moment and how long it lasted. So if someone cut you off in traffic, you probably got pretty mad. But if you think back to it, you were probably only mad for like 30 seconds, maybe a minute, maybe a little bit longer, depending on, how close you were to that person in proximity and if you could still see them or not. But chances are it didn't last very long. Probably didn't last more than a couple minutes. Motivation is the same thing. Motivation comes and goes. I may wake up and see something on the computer or see something on my phone, a quote or something that makes me think and motivates me or makes me feel motivated, but in reality, an hour later, I may have completely forgotten about it. So motivation is more of a feeling, and that feeling is usually very fleeting. You might wake up feeling really motivated, and by the end of the workday, you don't want to do anything. So the next thing you need to know is that most high achievers and high performers have an intrinsic need for accomplishment and achievement. When they want to reach a goal, something's really important to them, they realize that it's going to take consistent effort and consistent work, and they realize that not every day or everything they do is always going to feel good. But they know reaching that end goal is super important, so therefore they know that they have to keep pushing along regardless of how they feel. And as they continue to work towards that goal, they will feel motivated some days and they won't feel as motivated on other days. But what keeps them going is remembering what it's going to feel like to accomplish that goal, what it's going to be like to have that achievement. And this brings me to my last point. What those people are actually doing is they realize that they're not going to feel motivated every single day. So they can't rely on that motivation, or they can't rely on willpower in the moment to make them do what they need to do. So instead, they commit to a process and they commit to taking the daily steps that they need to take in order to reach their end goal. So if you want to lose 30 pounds, you want to fit into the jeans that you used to wear, or you want to go to the beach and be able to take your shirt off and feel good about yourself, you know that you need to do a certain amount of work in a certain period of time, so you have to go back and commit to doing that work on a daily basis, eating better, training regularly, getting enough sleep. And when you do that stuff on a consistent basis, you may not feel motivated every single minute of every single day, but the more you do it, the more X's you check off on your calendar, the more you put in the time and effort, the more you're going to feel better about yourself, and the more you're actually going to be motivated to continue doing that thing. But if you only act when you feel motivated, chances are you're not going to act, and chances are you're not going to do as much as you could do, therefore you're not going to reach your goal. Okay, so here's what you need to remember. Motivation is much like a feeling. It's fleeting, it's like a fickle emotion, it comes and it goes, and you shouldn't ever rely on it. Next thing is you need to remember that high achievers, high performers, people that have accomplished a lot, typically understand that motivation is fleeting, and they focus on the achievement that they want to experience, they focus on the end goal, and they make sure that that is their focus, and they act despite feeling motivated all the time. And then you need to remember that it's in your best interest that if you want to reach a goal, you need to sit down, write it out, realize that you're not going to feel motivated all the time, that getting to this achievement is going to take work, and what's most important is you do what you need to do on a daily basis, regardless of how you feel, because the more you do it, the more momentum you're going to build, and the better you're going to feel about yourself, and ultimately the more motivated you're going to feel the longer you do the thing. So that's it. I hope you understand my feelings on motivation and why you probably don't need to rely on it too much. So do you have any questions about motivation or how to stick to a plan or how to get the ball rolling and start building momentum? If you do, leave your questions in the comments below, and I'll be glad to answer any questions you have. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.